Why is foreign exchange growing as an asset class?
I think what you've seen through the financial crisis, if we date that right back to 2007, a lot of asset classes were hit in various different ways, but foreign exchange grew through all that time, and I think slowly people are realising that it can be a viable asset class. Sometimes people will debate whether it is actually an asset, but I think as time has gone on, you've seen more of these other asset classes like equities, bonds and commodities being more and more correlated with each other. People are looking really to diversify returns, and I think that's why foreign exchange has really sort of come up as a means by which portfolio managers and others can really diversify the risk in their portfolio, because that's becoming a bigger and bigger problem.
What do you think are the key themes for forex in the coming year?
Well, of course, as we speak, the euro crisis is still ongoing, and I can't really see that being resolved, at least in 2012. So that aside, I think the sovereign risk side, or how governments are dealing with their debt, is going to be an issue, not only in the Eurozone but beyond. If you look at the US, for example, during their election year, tackling those long-term budgetary issues like the rising health costs, the ageing populations, it's not something that really buys you votes and not something that voters get excited about. And I think we've seen how tough that's been in Europe. The current generation are not having it as good as the generation just gone. That's a key challenge for the US, Japan as well, with their debt levels beyond 200% of GDP. People think that, well, that should make the yen weaker, but it never has, and it's such a strong currency. And I think that will still be a theme for most of 2012, but at some point there could be a tipping point there. So if we look beyond what's going on in Europe, I think these themes are going to be dominant. On top of that, what's been driving the Aussie and those sort of high risk, high beta currencies, they're changing as well. They've become sort of quite overvalued and have pulled back in the first half of 2012, and people are now struggling to know if that can continue, this whole what's called risk on, risk off carry trade, and I think the dynamics are changing there. So as always, I think the dynamics of foreign exchange markets are changing, and I think that's going to continue happen in 2012 and beyond.
And how do you ensure that clients stay on top of these developments?
Well, FX is always a very, fluid asset class in what drives it. And I think one of the key elements is you have to always reassess your trading style, reassess what models you're using on an ongoing basis. You can never sit there with FX and think you have something that works, an approach or a style that works and makes you money all the time. That it doesn't really exist, and if you do, then the next week it can very much be blown out of the water. So I think one of the most important things is you must make sure you are aware of those bigger picture, those changes in correlations that are happening, the changing dynamics that are happening in FX, and how they affect your trading style and your portfolio on an ongoing basis, because that's the nature of FX. What works one week or 1 month can really then turn around and not work for the following month.
What is ECN? And what are the benefits to clients who trade through an ECN platform?
An ECN, it stands for Electronic Communications Network. It's a very sort of bland acronym, but really it's a means by which you're bringing together a marketplace. So you bring together liquidity provider and FX, and you provide a platform where you can see the prices and the amount being offered at those prices on a real-time basis. So it feels much more sort of like you're in an institutional environment, seeing the developments in the market as they happen and the depth of liquidity in there. The advantage is that it gives you much more transparency, but also you've got to bear in mind that unlike with a market maker, you may not always get the price when you hit that, or the levels on the take profit and the market orders. You may not always get exactly that price, because any ECN is just bringing together players. So that's one of the things you have to bear in mind. But nevertheless, it's a great revolution. I think it's really revolutionised and brought people much closer to the benefits of FX that a lot of the institutional players feel.
What sets FxPro C-Trader ECN apart from that of its competitors?
I think the key thing that sets us apart is the depth of liquidity we offer to our clients. We've worked with 10 or more liquidity providers, and we work with them on an ongoing basis to ensure that they're offering us the tightest spreads and the best liquidity that we can then pass on to our clients. I think it's one of the key things. Also, the ongoing evolution of the platforms. We work a lot with our clients, and the feedback that we ensure that as we develop the next phase or the next updates to the platform, that we're always incorporating the feedback we get from clients. And you see that we've just on an ongoing basis over the last few weeks, we've announced a number of enhancements, generally to the look and feel of the platform, just to make it more intuitive and to make it much more easy for clients to use. So I think those are the three key elements. 2011
was a record year for FxPro. What does the company have in store for the second half of 2012?
As of May, we just received our full dealing license from the FSA. That means that we can do a lot more through our clients in London. You get the choice of whether you want to be open your account through Cyprus, through Australia, or through the UK. So you get the choice of the regulatory environment that you set up with. And that can have benefits in terms of the amount of investor protection office. It's giving our clients that choice when they open their account at the beginning. The second thing is we're also moving to an agency model, which means that we are not the market maker to our clients. That means that we have every incentive to make sure our clients stay with us, remain profitable, and we retain those clients in their education and work with them. So I think those have both changed greatly the way we operate as a business, and we move forward and continue our success.